Hello friends, and welcome back to our third installment of the Sly Paladin of the Nine. Oh, there you can see my I didn't even realize that was going to do that, but maybe you guys can see it. I don't know what this thing records. But anyways, so this is our third video, and we are going to visit a farm of mine. And I'm going to let this run at normal speed for just a minute before we go zip, 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 just so you can see how fast this rail line actually works. It's pretty amazing. And my pattern here is I use 16 regular lines and then 2 powered rails. And I make very good time, but this is still going to be a really long trip. So we're going to go ahead and do that whole shifting into turbo thing. And then when we get to the Frog Farm entrance into the overworld, we will slow back down and can go in and look at that. And apparently my connection is just not fabulous, but you know, I live rural, so our Wi-Fi is kind of... And again, before I go zip zip, one of the reasons this particular location is so far out is because I wanted a location that intersected where we had a basalt plateau or basalt delta, so the magma cubes would be spawning in, that was corresponding to or very close to an overworld location that was an icy biome, because I wanted the green frogs. And I think that once we get there, and it's at like, I want to say this is my longest rail line, so it could be like around 3,000. So we're gonna zip quite a ways, but you'll see I've been very successful with the whole making of the green frogs. All right, let's do this. All right, so not quite at 3,000. I overestimated that one a little bit, but almost, because you'll notice that our Z coordinate is 676, and we started roughly at world spawn. So we're gonna hop out here and hop out here. I'm funny. Okay, I think I'm funny. Here we are. All right, so this is it daytime? Excellent. I'm not going to bring any more in because I have a bajillion, but this is the cold biome, and there's a stronghold down there, but as you can see, it's chilly. And if I were to breed them right here, half of them would grow up on that side, so they would turn orange. But if I have them breed over here, and all of these lights are there specifically to keep the ice melted, because aside from these little liars, anything that will generate light is supposed to be able to melt snow and ice. So here we have some holes in the ice specifically for the froggies to lay their eggs and have these adorable little tadpoles. I truly love the tadpoles. They're just so freaking cute. It's so bizarre how Minecraft manages to make certain things just like bloody adorable or completely beautiful. Like the views sometimes are just, it shouldn't be that pretty, but it is. So this is where I breed my green frogs. At the moment I don't have any particularly hippity hopping around because the last batch I took through to my little basalt delta. So we're going to go back in. I don't see any reason to go down to a stronghold that I basically bored out completely. Ooh, hang on. Prismarine. I go through a lot of this too because I use it for very special roofs. Alright, zip zip. That was fast. Didn't even need to zip zip. Alright, so we're going to hop back on this rail because it continues to the frog farm. And this is easily my most productive frog farm just because, there it goes. Got a catch. Just because I have so many frogs. It's just a little bit short of absolutely absurd. Which is, you know, that checks. Alright. No, I don't want either of those in my hotbar. Thank you. And I don't want any of that. Gas tiers are functionally useless. Alright, so this one is my favorite, too, for a bunch of different reasons. There are a bajillion frogs, and some of them are the yellow producers, and it's because of these ones, because I end up with orange ones in pretty much all of the farms eventually, that I don't actually go out to the second farm very often, just because it's a long trip, and I can get the same thing here. So if I'm going to take a long trip, I'll come out to a place that's a little bit easier. Speak of the devils. There we go. A little bit easier for me to use. And it's kind of nifty setup. So this is actually super important, and I will show you why. Oops, not that way. It always sounds like cats. Hop, hop, hop. So I've got this little staging area up here where I can go, oh look, there's a hoppy butt. Come on, you. Come here. There you go. Good job, hoppy butt. Alright, so now we just come back down and where's it gone? You over here? Where'd you go, stupid? Oh, come on. Okay, now it sees me. So with the gate here, it cannot get through, and neither can the little mini magma cubes. So they can't, you know, commit seppuku against my armor, but I can still smack them with my sword over the gate. So this is a location where I generate a lot of lights. And my stairs are very close. Let's see if we can do another. Ooh. And then this is the other part about this location that's great is I get a lot. Gas. Hang on. That was just rude. All of you, hop in the hole. Okay, you're all being rude and I've had enough, so hop in the hole. Come on. There. Jeez Louise. Hey, gas. I gotta finish that roof. I'm gonna break mini cubes on my armor, aren't I? Stop being rude. And every once in a while I hit a frog, but it's actually pretty uncommon. Oh, what now? Thank you. So let's see, how many, even with the ones that have sort of immolated themselves against my Thorn's armor, I'm still walking away with an ochre and 19 verdant lights in like a minute. I mean, it really doesn't take long at this location, although I am fairly aggravated with the freaking gas, and I'm going to waste some prismarine because it'll be resistant, I suspect. I'm sure that there's actually a wall here, because I don't want it to be so open that the froggies hop their little buns out. I want some control over it, and I think that will help. Okay, much better. And it looks nice. I like the dark prismarine. And I don't actually have a dearth of it, I just don't have an abundance either. So we'll go up one more time once Kermit gets out of my gate. Come on, bud. Up your way out, because you're not thinking. You're not going through there. There we go. And it's right next to the up. Okay, so that's a funny story, by the way. When I was like, I want to say a freshman, but maybe a sophomore in high school, I was with my mom, and she was driving my dad's truck. And his truck was a big old 3/4 ton Dodge Ram. You're going to be dumb like this, aren't you? Ooh, one of the big guys ended up down here. It was a big old 3/4. No, was it a full? No, it was 3/4 ton. You can see they all just die against my armor because idiots. So it's a big old truck, but not one with dualies, if that makes any sense. And we were at this restaurant, and my mom was driving, and she was not like super duper confident with his truck because it was massive and it was an so it had a diesel engine. That's what we called them. We called it an if it had a diesel engine. And I actually had a little not a Hyundai, it was a Volkswagen Jetta that had a diesel engine, and it was an engine too. They just make a deeper sound. But so she's driving this truck, and the truck is just like way too big for her. And I've driven it since, and because actually my brother has it these days, but they still use it quite a bit. But we were gonna go out of this parking lot, and she was going out a location that was not like a proper entrance / exit. It didn't have that little down. So you were going over the curb, and I saw that, and she didn't. And I said, "Mama, that's not a down. It's not a down." I was like 16 at the time, and I'm awkward because autism is a thing, and I could not come up with the words for it. And she goes, "It's not a what?" And then we went over the curb, and it went thump, thump. And I went, "That." I just couldn't find the words for it. And then another time I was with my partner, and we're driving orders for DoorDash. He was driving at the time, and there was a kid, and I live in a college town. Well, I live outside of the college town, but like the main metro in our area is a big old college town, so it's just swarming with, under 25s. It's a really common thing. But there was a kid, probably 19-ish, on his phone, had in headphones, wasn't paying attention, and started to go out of the crosswalk in front of us. And I realized that my partner had not noticed them because he wasn't slowing down. And the words just would not come to me. And what I ended up saying, and this was so stupid, but it worked because he understood what I meant. I went, phone, car person. And he stopped immediately, and he goes, "Oh," because the kid was on his phone, and we're in a car, and we're going to hit that person. And my brain just glitched, and so it came out, phone, car person. The next time something similar happened, I just went, stop now. And he stopped. Because these kids, sometimes they can be downright suicidal in the way they don't pay attention when they're walking around. On campus, I don't blame them, because we drive in places that most people are not supposed to drive, but I'm handicapped, and we do deliveries, and so we're allowed to go in certain places to drop off some food. And so I understand them not necessarily expecting you to be driving down what is essentially the mall, but when they're on the main streets of town, like well off of campus, not the brightest thing they could possibly be doing. Right? But, we're the putative grown-ups in this conversation, and we have to keep our eyes peeled, you know what I mean? So, we have never hit anybody, incidentally. He's a pretty good driver. That kid was just like, not thinking. All right, let's go zip. Whee! Everybody put your hands up. It's like a roller coaster, right? Not really. Although I have actually designed a roller coaster that had like functional loop-de-loops, and it was pretty nifty. I need to do that again just because it was funny. Okay, so we're at roughly world spawn, but I didn't build another portal at my world spawn first. I did it at a location that was about 1,000 squares away, but like too close for a second nether portal to function correctly. And so the one that's at world spawn, I can hop into the nether from and it'll bring me here. But when I go out at the first village in this particular build that I really worked up. And the reason I did this is because I wanted librarians. I have no idea why I picked this particular village, but it's worked out pretty well for me because it has both temperate and cold weather biomes. There we go. All right, and it was a ruined portal when I first found it, so I just rebuilt it. Okay, little guy, you go on in. I don't know why you were standing there waiting for the door, but that leads off to a room. And actually, you know what? We don't need to sleep because we're going to stay in the inside space and follow these guys. Oh, maybe not. Hi, what do you sell? So, librarians. Wait until you see how many librarians there are here. That'll almost certainly be protection because that's always what they do, but this one's not selling me any books. That's why he's not locked down. So we are going to sleep because I don't want to deal with doing the outside thing. Hi, doggos.
Respawn point set.
Of course it is. Goofy thing. Do I have anything in there? Probably not. And it's never going to load because reasons. There it goes. Okay, yes. Nothing in there worth worrying about. So we're going to hop through. Now, in the village, I only built 3 things in terms of structures. And they are, let's see, can't see any of them from here. Oh, this is my fishing hole. I'll show you how I fish. It's hilarious. Okay, I think it's hilarious, but I also find myself incredibly funny. So, you know, that may just be a me problem, and I would 100% believe that. Okay, so I built this thing right here. I built this little cave right here. Well, that bridge too, but it's not a structure necessarily. And I'm glad he's actually farming. And then that big beastie over there. And like I said, this is the library village. So there's lots of librarians. And I like to try and trap them in small spaces. Preferably individually, but pairs is fine. Just so that I can find the ones I want when I want them. Because I need a lot of enchantments. And this one is obviously an offensive one, so I do not care. Can you tell I've had a lot of problems with pillagers? A lot of problems with pillagers. But they've mostly stopped. So this is the main sort of library house. There's another random one. And there's a ton in this that I have not managed to contain. I'm always curious what they carry. So that's channeling. So this is another offensive one, which is rude. And then this is kind of the lower level. And the reason there are 3 iron golems farting around down here is because I kept ending up getting brown coming out from there and coming in to harass my librarians. So they're just there to protect the librarians. Here's one of my babies. Has fire aspect, so that's going to be armor, I think. Maybe not. I don't remember. And looting 3. That's, you know, really, really, really super duper extra special useful on your sword. Because it really increases the amount of loot, obviously, you get. And if you're trying to train up a bunch of these librarians, you want a lot of ink sacs. So that can be just like super valuable because you can get like 6 ink sacs out of a single squid with this. Oh, that's what I was just looking at. I don't always keep track. And then up here, what's funny is you see where there are lanterns. If there are lanterns, or this fence, because dumb, they tend to get their little selves stuck. And for me, that is just perfect. Because they don't move, so I can always find the same librarians, and I don't have to. So here we have looting, thorns, which is armor, efficiency is tools. So this one doesn't know who he is. He's just here. As you can see, there's just stupid amounts of librarians. Oh, guys. I do worry about him down there. But you can see from their belt tags, and I think I mentioned this previously, but I may not have. You can tell what level they are just by looking at their belts. These guys are diamond, so they're all going to be master levels. They're fully trained. More diamonds. This one, I want to say, is gold. Come on, look at me. Yep, that one's gold, so this is going to be one of our journeyman levels. I don't remember this being... Yeah, flame goes on armor, flame goes... And that's so fun, so kind of obnoxious, but, you know, whatever. The experts have emeralds on their belts, so this one's going to be an expert. The apprentices are kind of a pinkish, they're the iron color. And then your absolute novices have a gray tog on their belt. It's a tag, but I call it a tog. If I haven't told you that before, it's just a thing I do. So everything else was already here as part of the village. That one, that kitty came from a witch's hut. My first witch's hut. And lots of the doggos. And this is the location that I made specifically for librarians. So I have sugar cane, as you'll notice, not quite as abundant as in the proper city build, but it's very common. And we'll go across and see it even more. And one of the things that I did when I was training this whole village up is I would go digging for fossils and then use that bone meal, obviously, to grow all of my sugar cane. Foxes! I love foxes. And there's a jillion cows. And sheep are super common around here, too. Otherwise, a fairly normal temperate forest. Here's the big section, and this one I designed really deliberately to be all straight lines for a distance so that I could just walk down it and go pip, 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 pip. You know what I mean? And just knock all of the sugar cane down. And so I'd run down it with the bone meal and just tap each one and then come back through and pull the whole amount. Because it was less boring to me than standing there and bone meal cut in one place. It changes scenery, I guess. And then this is the cattle farm. And I have a little horse in here that is kind of funny. And that's a nice doggo. You should come inside with me. I did not mean to give you that, but I'm glad I did. Because you clearly needed it. Come on, doggo. Oh, look, pillager flags. Bloody pillagers. I try and have these nether chests, ender chests, whatever, it's the same thing. Okay, you sit here. Thank you. Tell you what, have some lamb. Not gonna do that. I try and have ender chests at all of my major bases, and this is... I have to wait for all of these little ones to grow up, and then I'll do another round of breeding and then kill all of the adults, because that's how I do it. You get a lot of experience out of breeding these little gremlins, by the way. I've recharged my gear that way many a time. And then here is my little friend, skeleton horse. And this is what happens when a horse is struck by lightning. Okay. How do I get off of you? Oh, that's right. Crouch. I'm like, stop rearing and let me off. I don't ride very often in this game. I just don't have a use for it. Excuse me. And then I apparently wanted to live in a glass igloo when I built this whole thing. I just like the view at night. I don't know. I just work here. But then, of course, I have, you know, obligatory wheat farms everywhere. And if you saw me roll my head back, you know, I mean, just absolutely ridiculous. But it also works out pretty nicely. So we're going to swim over. Whee! I do so love swimming. In real life and in the game. I swim like a fish.
I joke with my little one. I'll say, in the case of an emergency, your mother can be used as a flotation device. And it's true. I cannot sing. I'm a fat kid with lots of adipose tissue, but even when I was a little munchkin, about 5 years old, and skinny little kid, floated like a cork. I cannot sing. I've never been able to sing. It's kind of silly, but also kind of nice. I was at my mom's house, and she has a she had a swimming pool in the community she lived in. She was in like a golf course plan community type thing. My dad loved golf. And I could fall asleep just laying there in the pool with no floaties, just floating. So this is how I fish. See how I have this little puddle, kind of, full, with some magma cubes. And all I have to do, and there's also I'll show you the conduit over here. I love the conduits. But these magma cubes suck you down, right? And that one doesn't. I can't do it on that one. I can't do it on this one either. But it also sucks the fishes down. And I don't ever have to come up because I've got that conduit there. And this is the trick with the conduit. You actually don't need this upper portion. You just have to get through to here. It needs to be surrounded on almost every side with prismarine of some variety. And it can be any of the three. You go. You. But once you do that and the conduit activates, you can breathe underwater. So if you wanted to, say, take on an ocean monument, that's what you want to build as soon as you can. Okay, that's funny. But so the magma cubes will kill the fish, and then a lot of times the fish just pop back up or hang out down there. And what you'll notice here is I have a couple of magma cubes here, and I have a cluster of 4 over there, and then there's actually another set off over that way, but I don't use them very much. But as you go back and forth, they'll spawn back in. And so it doesn't take long for there to be a gigantic pile of fish just hanging out there for you to collect. So I don't even really need to fish anymore, but I do have these fish farms. I'll have to show you guys that, y'all. I really mean to say y'all. When I say guys, I intend it to be gender neutral, even though I know it's not. It's one of those things I'm working on. The stupid part is my whole family is from the South. Like, I have family in Georgia and in Kansas and in Texas and Arizona and Arkansas. And when I go to family reunions, I come back talking like this and ain't nobody understand a word I'm saying. You know, y'all is a much better phrase. It's a much better term. And I don't know if I've mentioned this on this channel before either, but y'all is a single person. All y'all is multiple people, and that's my story, and I will die on that hill. What on earth am I hearing? Oh, it's gotta be drown. This ninny. I don't know why, but in this village, the iron golems love to hang out on the roofs, ceilings, the other side of the ceiling. Obviously, these cherry trees were not here before, but I have a borderline obsession with them. And I plant them anywhere I ever spend any amount of time because I love the pink floaties coming down. And they are, more importantly, an excellent source of both lumber and bone meal because they drop a ballistic ton of their little saplings. And so you can, put those into the composter and get a lot of bone meal out of them. And what am I hearing? Are you actually that dumb? Here's the other spot with the magma cubes that I often don't use. These help protect the village, obviously. Whoops! That's a fire! Good job, me. Paladin, stop it. Alright. So, I think that pretty much does it. Oh my gosh. This is going to be a really short video. Is there anything else I want to show y'all? This week, anyways. Next week, that was the other thing. If you look at, I'm going to move it over to my right hand real quick. The map in my left hand, you may notice some changes from the last time. And of course, you can't actually see them because they're at the very bottom corner of this map. So that doesn't work. That's rude. I'll put it back on the left because then you can see it. But we will look at that particular bit of work next week. It's very dramatic. I am super excited about it because it really clears the walls on the inside, and I wanted them all cleared. And then perhaps we'll go out and look at the new inn, because I have also been, and you can sort of see it down in the bottom right corner of that map, I've been working really hard to extend the platform out because it's going to eventually be 500 meters by 1,000 meters. At least in game terms, because that's, you know, per square, and I love my meters. Metric is the best thing ever. I do not understand why we don't use it more in the US, but we are stubborn, which I get, I guess. So yeah, that is our video this week. Hopefully you had fun. I always do. If you enjoy this kind of content, consider liking, subscribing, all of that nonsense. I honestly hate even saying that, but like, it's important. And the more, you know, comments and likes and subscriptions I get, the more motivation I have, obviously, to make more videos. And I'm trying really hard to give one a week and just be really consistent. So do that thing, and I will see you in the next video.